Congratulations. You are one of the selected neighborhoods.
It feels great that the Avondale neighborhood and the Avondale Development Corporation are going to be part of this partnership and neighborhood investment. It allows us to keep faith and hope. Hearing this news makes you feel we got a fighting chance to grow Avondale as we've been wanting to do.
Congratulations. You are one of the selected neighborhoods.
It feels great that the Avondale neighborhood and the Avondale Development Corporation are going to be part of this partnership and neighborhood investment. It allows us to keep faith and hope. Hearing this news makes you feel we got a fighting chance to grow Avondale as we've been wanting to do.
Congratulations. You are one of the selected neighborhoods.
It feels great that the Avondale neighborhood and the Avondale Development Corporation are going to be part of this partnership and neighborhood investment. It allows us to keep faith and hope. Hearing this news makes you feel we got a fighting chance to grow Avondale as we've been wanting to do.
Congratulations. You are one of the selected neighborhoods.
It feels great that the Avondale neighborhood and the Avondale Development Corporation are going to be part of this partnership and neighborhood investment. It allows us to keep faith and hope. Hearing this news makes you feel we got a fighting chance to grow Avondale as we've been wanting to do.
Congratulations. You are one of the selected neighborhoods.
It feels great that the Avondale neighborhood and the Avondale Development Corporation are going to be part of this partnership and neighborhood investment. It allows us to keep faith and hope. Hearing this news makes you feel we got a fighting chance to grow Avondale as we've been wanting to do.
Congratulations. You are one of the selected neighborhoods.
It feels great that the Avondale neighborhood and the Avondale Development Corporation are going to be part of this partnership and neighborhood investment. It allows us to keep faith and hope. Hearing this news makes you feel we got a fighting chance to grow Avondale as we've been wanting to do.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Community Action Agency's virtual 57th Annual Luncheon. I'm Courtis Fuller, and I am honored to be with you today. This past year and a half has been difficult for everyone. Folks have lost their jobs, at risk of losing their homes, unable to find childcare, and struggling just to make ends meet now more than ever before. But organizations like your Community Action Agency have stepped up tremendously, becoming a light at the end of a tunnel, continuing to serve our neighborhoods. CAA's theme for this year is building resilience, advancing equity, and sustaining hope. This past week, the organization has spotlighted clients who persevered in the face of adversity and award winners who have gone out of their way to improve our community at every opportunity. During today's program, you'll learn more about CAA's impact in our community and hear from Lucretia Bowman, someone who truly understands the power of never giving up. Now, all of this could not be possible without the support of our event sponsors. So, let's take a moment to hear from our presenting sponsor, Fifth Third.
Thank you, Courtis. We appreciate the kind words and the great work that you're doing here in our community. And I'm going to spend some time talking about a great organization here in our community as I get in my remarks here. But first of all, I'd like to say thank you for CAA and the great work that you're doing and celebrating this 57th anniversary of the organization. What a wonderful, wonderful story. My name is Roy Sutton. I am the Community and Economic Development Market Manager for Fifth Third Bank. And we are extremely pleased here at Fifth Third Bank to be the presenting sponsor for this luncheon. This connection, this relationship that we've had with the Community and Action Agency has spanned a number of years and a lot of programs. Everything that the organization does to build wealth for families, to build hope for families, whether that's through childcare or services for seniors or helping families prepare their income taxes when otherwise they wouldn't have any other options. All those are things that we support. These are things that make a difference here in our community. I think we will all agree these past 19 months, nearly 2 years, have been the most difficult experiences that we have all endured. When you think about the murders of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, they have raised the consciousness of our community. They've raised our level of thinking around the things that are most important to us, and more importantly, they have called us to action. So when we think about these efforts, what CAA is doing on an everyday basis, they're thinking about equality, they're thinking about justice, they're thinking about how they can bring parity to families. And we share that commitment. Approximately a year ago, Fifth Third Bank made a $2.8 billion commitment to advancing racial equity, equality, and inclusion. As a part of that commitment that we have made, there is a commitment of $180 million to 9 neighborhoods throughout the Fifth Third footprint. In fact, one of those neighborhoods is right here in Greater Cincinnati, the Avondale neighborhood, where we're going to commit $20 million to help the Avondale community to advance and to provide equity in small business, affordable housing, financial stability, and those things that will make that community a stronger place. We ask that you join great organizations like CAA. We ask that you join our efforts in the Avondale community to raise and lift our community to the place where it ought to be. So now as you enjoy this great luncheon, this 57th annual luncheon, I want you to know that we thank you from the deepest parts of our heart for the support that you have provided to this organization and the difference that it is making all throughout this region. And you do enjoy your day today. Thank you.
Thank you, Royce. We want to take a moment to thank all of our event sponsors. Again, the presenting sponsor is Fifth Third Bank. Platinum sponsor, the Pepper Family Fund. Our gold sponsors, PNC Bank, Flawless Cleaning, Union Savings Bank, and Guardian Savings Bank, and Molina Healthcare. Silver sponsors include McGowan Braybender, Teaching Strategies, United Healthcare, Talbert House, UC Health, ITA Audiovisual Solutions, and Dinsmore Shoal. And finally, our nonprofit sponsors are the YMCA of Greater Cincinnati and the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. With the support of our sponsors, volunteers, and community leaders, CAA can do work that gives individuals and families hope. Your support also helps their work. Now, if you would like to donate to CAA, you can do so anytime during this virtual event by texting CAA57 to 202-858-1233. Your donation will greatly impact and expand the services CAA can provide to your neighbors. It's my honor now to introduce the chair of the Community Action Agency Board of Directors, Chandra Matthews-Smith.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Courtis, for your continued support of CAA and always showing up to ensure that the annual work of the organization is showcased with excellence through your outstanding Master of Ceremony skills. A very special thanks to all of you for joining us today. This year's theme, Building Resilience, Creating Equity, and Sustaining Hope, has taken on a new meaning as so many of our neighbors continue to endure during this crisis. This year, Community Action Agency has helped more than 5,000 families by providing rent, mortgage, and utility assistance. Our Head Start program has continued to offer high-quality education to nearly 1,600 students and their families, both in the classroom and virtually. Through our Career Pathways program, we have helped 132 individuals train and start a new career. Our mobile food pantry, in partnership with Free Stored Food Bank and Anthem, have given 3,250 households healthy and fresh produce. I applaud the entire CAA staff for their incredible work this year. Your dedication shows how much you care for people in our community. You have continued to show up day after day after day and help thousands during one of the most difficult times in our nation's history. I applaud our President and CEO, Mark Lawson, for his exceptional leadership in advancing CAA. You have led your team to be innovative and quick to respond to the crises we have faced, and our community is better off and very fortunate to have you. I would also like to thank the CAA Board of Directors for your leadership and commitment to the organization and our entire community. Last but certainly not least, I would like to thank our donors, sponsors, program partners, and volunteers for your continued support of Community Action Agency. Without you, our work would not be possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandra, for your leadership at CAA and in our community. And now it is my pleasure to present Community Action Agency's President and CEO, Mark Lawson.
Thank you, Courtis. Welcome everyone to CAA's 57th Annual Luncheon. We of course miss being in person, but we are glad that you're able to join us virtually for this event. We never knew the true impact the pandemic would have on us until we were really deep in it, but from the beginning we always knew that the way to get through this was by understanding that we're all in this together. The theme of this year's luncheon is building resilience, sustaining hope, and advancing equity. Since the beginning of our home relief program, CAA has assisted more than 5,000 families with their rent, utilities, mortgage, and water bills. And we've spent over $16 million helping folks stay in their homes. And to put this in context, in the normal year, we would spend about $250,000 and help just a few hundred people. And so with the help of our donors, we have spent about $50,000 to provide gas cards, food, furniture, and other basic needs to people that need help. And that is what sustaining hope looks like for so many that have been affected by the pandemic. We have made adjustments to pivot when needed, meeting folks where they are. Our Head Start centers were shut down briefly, but we continue to serve our families by providing food boxes, tablets for virtual home visits, and other necessities. And we recognized that folks had lost jobs through no fault of their own and had to find new careers and job opportunities. So we partnered with Urban League, Cincinnati Works, Easter Seals to start a rapid reemployment program where we have assisted nearly 400 people with job training, coaching, and employment. And this is what advancing equity looks like. And through it all, our staff at CAA have shown amazing resilience, working remotely to assist thousands of people who were accustomed to walking through our doors for help. And by partnering with organizations like United Way, Talbot House, and Legal Aid, we have strengthened our ability to reach folks during this difficult time. I'm also so proud to announce that our board of directors voted to approve a paid parental leave policy just this last August. Our Families First policy provides up to 16 weeks of fully paid time off for moms, dads, committed partners to care for and bond with new children who may join a family through birth, adoption, foster care, or guardianship. Just one example, again, of what it means to build equity. So I want to thank you for your support, for your partnership, and of course for believing in our mission.
Thank you, Mark, and the amazing staff over at Community Action Agency. You are helping to improve the lives in our community from cradle to career. Now we'll hear firsthand from some of the clients who have been empowered by the services CAA provides.
My experience with the Rapid Reemployment Program came at the right time in my life, where I was out of work and I was looking for work, and I needed to improve on my job readiness skills, prepare more and be more confident in the job market. And it came at the right time. I just finished up work with another company that had shut down because of COVID. And I find myself looking for additional income and better skills. So one of the things that the Rapid Employment Program helped me with Microsoft 365, SQL, and analytical data analysis, which I wasn't very experienced with, but I was experienced with some aspects of database. So I'm very pleased of my skills that I've acquired over the course of 4 weeks that I've been in the program, and I'm out searching gainfully for employment now. You know, there's somewhat of a stigma, you know, about asking for help. My mom was a social worker here in the city of Cincinnati, and she always said, you know, if you want to start out, Cincinnati is one of the great places for resources, you know, where there are people out here that are willing to help you. But, you know, they don't know who you are if you don't raise your hand, give them a call, go out to the office. So, you know, I just think that, you know, we have to take the initiative to find help when we need it.
Gracias a ellos, pues yo pude solventar los gastos de la renta y de la luz por varios meses y pues estoy muy agradecida a Gestar que me ayudaron con esos biles a pagarlos. Yo tengo 5 niños, pero 4 de ellos se han asistido a Gestar. Gracias a Dios, ellos eran muy felices siempre que yo los llevaba a Gestar. Ellos regresaban a mi casa contentos y me decían, mi teacher me enseñó esto, yo aprendí esto y yo estoy muy contenta con el programa. Pues que ellos son muy amables, siempre me han atendido muy bien siempre que iba yo a la escuela o cuando yo ahora que les he pedido ayuda no me la negaron, gracias a Dios ellos me ayudaron. Ellos son muy amables y la verdad que les recomiendo que vengan a Gestar y yo estoy muy contenta. Gracias por todo lo que me han brindado, toda la ayuda que me han dado. A mí y a mis hijos estoy muy feliz con el programa. Lástima pues que ya no tengo más niños, ¿verdad?, para poderlos llevar, pero gracias a ellos mis hijos ahora son muy listos en la escuela, gracias a Dios.
I've been working in IT for quite a while, but I've never thought about getting a certification. Mainly because, you know, one of the things that I thought would hinder me is because I didn't have my college degree. Right. While I went to college, I didn't finish, but I wanted to do something to show the children that I'm still learning. I'm still trying to improve myself and trying to make myself better, no matter what it was. So I decided to try TechWorks program and filled it out, filled out the information, interviewed with Kristen, interviewed with Shantae, and the instructor at the time, and they were gracious enough to allow me to join the program. To be able to now share my knowledge and share my study path and share my pathways with additional students and those who may not think that they can do it, you know, I want to kind of be able to let them know and be that mentor. Don't be intimidated. While it is a learning curve, the best thing you can do is continue to strive and have a drive. If you don't have that drive, then you won't find the interest in what you're doing. You also got to have a passion for it. You know, one of the things, like if it's something you want to do, then most people will make the necessary changes or try to accommodate themselves to study and get there. If you know, one of the things that people do is they fail and they feel like they can't do it and they just give up, but you can't do that, because just because you get knocked down doesn't mean you can't do it.
Because of donors like you, CAA has been able to increase the services offered, whether it's a hotel stay for a family who has been evicted, prepaid gas, grocery, and prescription cards, or new furniture. Your donation today could change someone's life tomorrow. You can donate by texting CAA 57 to 202-858-1233. Now it is my honor to introduce Lucretia Bowman, our keynote speaker for the 57th Annual Luncheon. At an early age, Ms. Bowman was placed in foster care where she was victimized, abused, placed in a mental hospital, and became a runaway. Believing no one cared for her, she turned to a life of drugs and crime and was eventually incarcerated in state prison. From her experiences, Lucretia has started several programs that offer holistic housing for women who desire to change after they experience abuse, incarceration, and addiction. She has spent her life emulating equity, resilience, and hope. And today, she serves as the Vice President of Recovery Services at City Gospel Ministry and resides right here in Cincinnati with her family. Please welcome Lucretia Bowman.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to the CAA 57th Year Luncheon. I am so grateful to be here. My name is Lucretia Bowman. I work for City Gospel Mission, but let me also tell you that this work that I do, I remember the first time I myself came to CAA. It's been almost 29 years ago, and I was coming out of prison. And I needed rental assistance 29 years ago. And today I am the keynote speaker. What an amazing full circle event. The one thing I want to talk about, their theme this year is equity as well as resilience and hope. How do we advance it? How do we advance equity? We know that when we look at equity, it is about being impartial and it is about being fair. What I have had to learn in my journey is that I'm not always going to be treated fair, but I am going to have to push through, and I am going to have to build resilience when those days don't come. And I am going to have to look at how do I sustain my hope even in the face of adversity. Let me just share my story. If you don't mind, you see me with something in my hand, it's a scarf. I would like for us just a moment to just kind of target into the moment, and I want us to imagine you have a blindfold. I'm not gonna put it on, but I want you to imagine you have one. And you have someone sitting in front of you who has been through a lot of trauma in their lives, who has struggled with asking for help because they have been knocked down so many times that they don't know what it feels like to someone to say, I care. What I've come to realize when I got out of prison in 1992, and I was this 32-year-old woman in a body chronologically, but I was a 5-year-old little girl. Let me tell you my story. My story was a little girl who had been in foster care, who had been raped by her foster care parents' boyfriend. His name is Mr. Sam. I name him. You know why I name him? Because I have learned to forgive him. So I put a name on the person who put his hands on me and allowed me to see that my equity, the way he looked at me, was not valuable. And he began to do this, and so I began to believe that his way of treating me was the way I needed to treat myself. And so I went on this journey, and I lost my innocence. And in losing my innocence, I began to look at myself, and I began to see myself as nothing. I didn't see the value in me. And so I began to let all kind of things through life treat me any kind of way. Let me share something with you. Then I found myself in girls' school, youth department schools. Then I found myself 5 times, not once, twice, 3, 4, but 5 times in prison. I did 17 and a half years in prison. And I remember getting out in 1992, not really knowing what it was gonna look like to be free, but I wanted it. And I remember they said that justice is blind. And for a moment, I remember the judge that gave me that opportunity, which just passed away not too long ago, Judge Norbo Nato. When he looked at me that day in court, after having 30-something felonies, and I cannot even count the misdemeanors I had. He saw me for the first time. Not my record. He said something that was amazing that gave me hope. He said, for once, I'm going to give you an opportunity. If you really want to learn to live again, I'm going to give you this opportunity. And I remember thinking in my head, what does that really mean? Because nobody had ever asked me my story. They would look at me and see an African-American woman or girl and living in poverty, living in foster home, being in trouble, not looking at me. They didn't see me. They saw what I did. They saw where I came from. But nobody ever asked me, what happened? How did you get here? Why did you make those decisions? And what I've come to realize over 29 years in the process of discovering my original self, washing off all those fingerprints and all those identities and all those crises and all that trauma, washing it off, not with water, but with tenacity, with resilience, with hope, with faith, but most of all, with community support and with people who began to see me because I began to see me. So at 32 years old, I had to chronologically, emotionally, and developmentally, and educationally, and financially, and spiritually, and emotionally grow up this little girl inside of me and begin to present her to the world. What I've come to realize in equity is that I had to learn that I needed to see my own equity, my own fairness, my own value. I had to begin to look at my own resilience and realize that if I could survive, come on, foster care, rape, a mental hospital that I was only supposed to be in for an evaluation because I was a runaway and end up staying there for 2 years on Thorazine 4 times a day, then guess what? I was building resilience and didn't even know it because of the pain I was in. So I could reach back into that pool and into that bank and into that value of my own house because I was valuable. I had equity in me. And I was able to reach back and pull it up and sustain the hope and say, this too is going to work together for my good. And I remember having to go through counseling and healing the child within. I remember what it was like to have a stigma of being a criminal, an ex-felon, having hard difficulties of getting a job. But I remember Frischers. They gave me my first job. But you know why they gave it to me? Because I was honest. I shared with them where I came from. And I told them, I remember a time that I came to them and I said, I cannot work with money because I was known as a common thief. Because someone stole something from me at a young age, and so now I had begun to steal stuff from other people. And I wasn't sure in my own discovery and recovery and my process if I was ready to handle the responsibility of somebody else's stuff. But they allowed me to have a job and made me a host, which taught me people skills. And it taught me the ability to speak to people when they come in and greet them. And I did not know that all of that was bringing into me my life and the ability to start trusting people again. And from that moment, my housing was at Anna Louise Inn at the time. And I was around other people, and I was still in counseling, and I was still being developed, and I had to come and ask for help from this agency right here. And they helped me, because I don't want people to ever feel like you have to not be able to ask for what you need. I don't want people in this world, this community. I know that this is a rough time. We have just come through and are still in COVID, a pandemic. We are in a epidemic of drug use. We are in all kind of things. But there are people in this community of Cincinnati, Ohio, that is going to be able to help you. They will help you advance your equity, your fairness. Let me tell you, impartial. I know we have seen all kind of things, the George Floyd stuff. We've seen all kind of, let's not be shame about what we've seen. But let's be honest, not everybody is going to not treat us well. We can't keep acting as though everybody's against us. I know what that felt like. That's why I went to prison 5 times, because I trusted no one. But I began to know that in the moment that I began to take one step towards the change I wanted, that I was taking and building resilience again. But I was also sustaining hope. There is something in this thing called life that I've come to know, that right now, as I also sustain hope, not just for me, because see, once you tell your story becomes somebody else's story. It becomes somebody else's encouragement. It becomes somebody else's opportunity. It becomes somebody else's hope. And what I did after 5 years of my own journey, I was given a vision called Having the Courage to Change, to help other women do what I wanted. That not all the resources that are here now was there 30 years ago. But I wanted to be a part. It reminds me of a saying that Gandhi says. He said, all of us in a gentle way can shake up the world by telling our stories. And what I've come to know is that I am shaking up the world with telling my story, with not being ashamed, with not even assigning blame to anyone, but being able to see my life as a tool to help someone else reach down. And sometimes we need to take our blindfolds off so we can see. We need to be able to also put them on so we don't always look at people for where they come from, but listen to their story for who they are. So I would encourage us all to just look at your life today and see, where are you having a blindfold? Are you having it because you're struggling in your own life? Or are you having it because you can't see people for the value that they are? So today, what I would encourage us to do is walk away and see where we can make the gentle shake in the world with advancing equity, building resilience, and sustaining hope. Thank you.
What an amazing story. We sincerely thank you, Lucretia, for sharing your experience and your story with us today. You can learn more about Lucretia's journey and purchase her book, Breaking the Cycle of Self-Abuse, at her website, www.lucretiabowman.com. It has been a real privilege and honor to join you today, and I'm moved by what a giving community we have right here in Cincinnati. You can still give by texting CAA 57 to 202-858-1233. From your Community Action Agency, we thank you once again for joining us. I'm Courtis Fuller. Have a nice day.